The following stories have been crafted for sleep. Let's begin. Story number 1. 347 feet. It started as a typical Thursday night. Bored, alone, lying in bed with a beer and my phone, scrolling through Grindr, mindless swipes. Half the profiles were headless torsos. A few gym bros, some blank bios, nothing interesting. Then I saw it. Profile name, none. Picture, none. Bio, close. Distance, 347 feet. That made me sit up. I live on the 7th floor of an old brownstone building, the top floor. The apartment next door is vacant, and the nearest building is across the street. So how could someone be 347 feet away? I stared at the screen. Something about the profile tugged at the back of my brain. Against my better judgment, I messaged, "Hey, you live in the building?" I got an instant reply, "You look peaceful when you sleep." I froze. I hadn't posted any sleeping photos. Hell, I never post anything personal. I use a single selfie and I keep it vague. I swallowed hard and typed, "Is this a joke?" Another photo came through. My blood turned to ice. It was me in bed sleeping, my face buried in the pillow, hair messy, taken from above, like someone had been standing over me while I slept. I bolted upright and looked around. My curtains were closed, door locked, windows shut. I messaged again, heart hammering, "Who are you?" Nothing, but the profile stayed online. I checked the distance again. 347 feet had changed to 292. He was moving. I jumped up, grabbed the baseball bat that I kept behind the dresser. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but it felt better than nothing. I checked every room, every closet, under the bed. Empty. Back on the app, the profile still hovered there. 204 feet. I pulled back the living room curtains and peeked onto the street. No one, just the flicker of a corner street lamp. Then I heard it, a soft creak, like a door hinge, from the hallway. I tipped to the peephole and held my breath. Nothing. Then I looked down. A slip of paper was being slid under my door. I didn't want to touch it, but I couldn't stop myself. I unfolded it with shaking fingers. Written in blocky handwriting. "I like this shirt better than the red one." I was wearing a blue shirt. The red one was in my laundry hamper. I wore it yesterday. I dropped the note like it had burned me. I called the cops. They said they'd dispatch something right away. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Backing into the corner, phone still in hand, I refreshed the app one more time. 47 feet. Another message popped up. "You forgot to lock your closet." I turned. The bedroom closet door was cracked open, just slightly. I knew I'd closed it. My hands were slick with sweat as I raised the bat and stepped closer. I kicked the door open and nothing. Just clothes, dust and boxes. I let out a shaky breath. The sound of sirens cut through the night. I bolted to the window and looked out. A squad car pulled up. 2 officers stepped out. I met them at the door and explained everything. The app, the messages, the picture. They took it seriously, thank God. They did a full sweep of the apartment, top to bottom. One of them found smudges on the fire escape outside my bedroom window. Another found a cigarette butt on the roof, still lit. They checked the building's security cameras. At 12:47 a.m, the footage showed a man in dark clothes and a hood slipping into the building. He knew the layout. He didn't hesitate. He disabled one of the hallway cams with a practiced flick of his wrist. Then he disappeared up the stairwell. But the footage never showed him leaving, which meant he was still inside. SWAT was called in. They evacuated the entire building. Room by room, they searched. They found him on the roof, crouched behind the HVAC unit, phone still open, Grindr pulled up. He had dozens of photos on his phone, all of me, some taken through my windows, some from inside the apartment, from nights I'd been asleep. He'd been watching me for weeks, maybe months. His name was Daniel, and he'd lived in the next building over, a delivery guy. Nobody suspected him. Quiet, polite, the perfect invisible neighbour. The cops said I was lucky that I called in time, that I hadn't had the chance to do whatever he'd planned. I moved out a week later, changed cities, changed my number, and deleted Grindr. But sometimes, when I'm walking home alone, I pull out my phone just to check the distance of the nearest profile. If I ever see 347 feet again, I'm not waiting this time. Story number 2. Online. We matched in April. His name was Elias. Late 30s, tall, soft eyes behind thick black glasses. He was warm, funny, nerdy in a charming way. A library science grad student, totally my type. We met for coffee, then dinner. He always wore those vintage cardigans, smelled faintly of cedarwood. There was something a little melancholy about him, but I liked that. We kissed on the third date. I thought it might turn into something real. Then, out of nowhere, he ghosted me. No text, no "I'm busy", just nothing. I messaged once, then again a week later. No response. His Grindr profile was gone. Facebook locked down. His number went straight to voicemail. I felt foolish, like I'd misread everything. I beat myself up over it. Until 2 weeks later, when someone sent me a screenshot of a Facebook post. R.I.P. Elias Thompson, you were taken too soon. We love you. A car crash, single vehicle accident. They said he hit black ice and veered off a bridge. It happened the night after our last date. I sat on my bed and just stared at the screen. I hadn't imagined it. He was real. And now, he was gone. A weird emptiness followed me for weeks. And then, it got worse. One night, I opened Grindr out of boredom. I wasn't even looking for anything. I was just scrolling. And there he was. Elias, online, 2 miles away. Same pic, same bio. The bio said, "Let's go for a drive." My heart skipped. It had to be someone using his photo, but the profile wasn't new. It had the same connection timestamp, the same chat history. Then the message came. Miss me? I stared at it for a long time. Too long. Finally I replied, Who is this?" He responded instantly, "You know me." I sat up, a cold dread settling in my chest. Elias is dead. Then he sent a picture. Not a selfie, a photo of me, taken right now, sitting in bed, staring at my phone. The exact angle someone would have if they were outside my window. I leapt up and yanked the curtains open. No one, but then I heard it, an engine idling. I rushed to the window and looked down at the driveway. Nothing there. But there were tyre tracks, fresh, wet, like something had just pulled in, then vanished. I locked every door and window in the house. Another ping. He'd sent a live location pin. It was moving, coming toward me. I turned off my phone. I didn't want to see it anymore. I called my friend Marcus and begged him to come over. Told him I was having a panic attack. Marcus stayed the night. The next morning I tried to show him the profile, but it was gone, completely erased, like it never existed. I thought maybe I'd had a breakdown, grief, hallucination maybe, but then it happened again, a week later. Different profile, blank name, no picture, just a message. Get in. And a photo. A car. The same old 90s Toyota Elias used to drive, beaten up blue with one cracked tail light, parked at the end of my street. I walked outside to prove it wasn't real. And there it was. The same exact car. Only no one was in it. The engine was still running. I stepped closer, the driver's side door creaked open, and I ran. The police said there was no one registered to that car in the area. Security cam footage glitched for 20 minutes that night. Just black static. I decided I was done. I contacted Elias's brother, told him everything. He didn't laugh. He didn't say I was crazy. He said, "You're not the first." Apparently 2 other men Elias had dated, both casual flings, had seen his profile come back after he died. One received a message that said, "Come for a ride, it's lonely out here." That guy left town and never spoke about it again. His brother believed Elias' spirit was stuck. The car crash was violent. Unfinished business maybe. I asked him what I could do. He paused and said, "Drive out there where it happened and bring something of his." It sounded stupid, but I couldn't take one more night of being haunted, so I did it. I drove 2 hours north, where Elias's car had gone off the old 2-lane bridge. The spot was still marked, withered flowers, a small white cross. I stood at the edge and pulled Elias's library card out of my coat pocket, one he'd left in my car. I read his name out loud. I told him I was sorry he didn't get to say goodbye. Then I said goodbye for him. As I stood there, my phone buzzed. One last message from that familiar profile. "Thank you." And then, like a candle being snuffed out, the profile disappeared. Gone. No distance, no picture, no status. Just peace. It's been 4 months. I haven't seen Elias since. But every year on the night we first met, I leave my passenger seat open, just in case he needs one last ride home. Story number 3. The blank profile. It started with a blank profile. No name, no pic. Just the distance, 1.3 miles away. I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Grindr's full of faceless ghosts and DL discreet only dudes. But then the profile messaged me. No text, just a photo of me. Standing outside my gym, looking down at my phone. I was in workout shorts and a tank. Headphones in. I hadn't taken that picture. I hadn't sent it to anyone. I replied, where did you get that? Type in bubbles. Then, gone. Another photo came through. Me again, in my apartment this time, sitting on the couch, wearing the hoodie that I was currently wearing. That was enough to send a chill right through me. I bolted to my window and peeked out. No one on the street, no weird cars, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I lived on the second floor, not exactly spy central. I messaged again. Okay, this is fucked up. Who are you? No answer. I reported the profile. An hour later, the profile had vanished. That should have been the end of it. But 3 nights later, I got a message from a new profile, also blank, except this time it had a photo. My face, smiling. Same nose ring, same mole under the left eye, same faded black t-shirt I'd worn at my last mirror selfie. Except I hadn't taken this photo. This version of me had a different expression, smug, almost mocking. Then came the message. Nice face, I'm trying it on. Something about that phrasing made me nauseous. I slammed the app shut, called my best friend Trey and told him about the whole thing. You need cameras, bro, he said. Someone's messing with you hard. He came over with a couple of cheap motion sensor cameras and helped me set them up, one facing the window and one facing my door. That night I barely slept. At 11 minutes past 3 a.m, I woke to a click, the sound of my front door unlocking, except I lived alone, and I always locked it. I grabbed a bat from under my bed and crept toward the hallway, heart pounding in my throat. The knob turned. Then, silence. No footsteps, no creaking floorboards, just an empty hallway. I locked the door again, barricaded it with a chair. Next morning I checked the camera footage. The door never opened. But the window cam, it had glitched, just for 12 seconds, and when it came back, my front door was slightly ajar, like someone had come in and left, fast. The only trace? A smudge on the doorknob that wasn't there before. I called the cops. They found no forced entry, suggested maybe I left it open, gave me a pamphlet about urban paranoia. I wasn't paranoid. Not when 2 days later the profile returned. Same photo of me, still smiling. This time it had a name. Taylor_2. That's my name, and I don't go by _2. The messages started again. You wear yourself well, but your skin's a little tight. Don't worry, I'll fix that soon. That night I took Trey's advice seriously, booked a hotel for the weekend, left town with just a backpack and my laptop. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, but the second I connected to the hotel Wi-Fi, the profile showed up again. 0.3 miles away. Then, a photo, not of me this time, of the hotel lobby, taken 5 minutes ago. And the message? Close. I didn't go back to the room. I went straight to the police. This time they didn't shrug it off. They pulled traffic cam footage, ran the profile IP, cross-checked phone pings. What they found chilled me to the core. The photos were being uploaded from a burner phone, cheap prepaid devices bought in cash, always used once, then tossed. But in the hotel footage they saw a man in a hoodie following me inside. He never approached me. He just watched. Then he left. The footage was blurry, but facial recognition caught something, and this is where it gets unreal. They couldn't match it to anyone, but what they did find? He was wearing a mask. A silicone mask of my face. Perfect, smooth, realistic, almost indistinguishable on camera. He'd 3D printed it, somehow, using my public selfies, my dating app pics, maybe even screenshots he'd secretly taken. He was trying to become me. Copying my clothes, my expressions, my walk. Police found a storage unit rented under a fake name. Inside they found a closet full of clothes matching mine. A wall of printed selfies, mine, again and again. Mannequin heads wearing variations of the mask. And a note. Soon you won't be needed. I'll take it from here. They never caught him, but after the police raid, the profile vanished for good. No more messages, no more sightings. The signal went dark. I moved. New city, new phone. I don't use Grindr anymore. Sometimes, though, I catch glimpses and reflections. A figure walking behind me with my gait, my posture. A flash of my face in a crowd, smiling too wide. But I keep walking, because I'm still me, and he didn't win. Not this time. Thank you for joining me this evening. Sweet dreams.